Ah, yes, I recognize that familiar grin of yours, that evil smirk on your face. I recognize that. I'm glad to see you up here in the Masked Fan Attic. Once again, thanks for coming. Thanks for inviting yourself into my house and creeping around in my attic. Do I really want that? Oh well, since you're here, we might as well get on with it and find a cool mask to talk about like we do every week. Not really that surprising to find you up here anymore, because every week I come and you're up here wanting to hear about some old mask. Tonight, not really a mask as such, more of a prop head, but still qualifies because it's the same type of collectible, you know, the life-size bust, you might say. In this case, it is a female robot, or cyborg, or android, if you prefer, from a movie from the early 80s, a terrible movie. The movie that introduced Molly Ringwald to the world, by the way. Spacehunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone. From, I believe, 83. They had a lot of words in the titles in the movies back then. Today, you know, it's more like Interstellar, Inception, you know, just a one word with the... But back then, we were all about the Spacehunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, and there was like Metal Storm, The Destruction of Jared Sin, and you know, all these titles with lots of words in them. This was one such case. Now, what is this thing, this female robot? Well, it came from the Berman Studios, and it was said at the time that the great makeup artist Tom Berman himself worked on this and sculpted this piece. I don't know. I question that because the sculpting on it, the design is fantastic, but the sculpting on it is kind of sculpty looking, if I may say so. Not exactly perfected, although it's possible they didn't feel the need to perfect it, whoever sculpted it at the Berman Studios, because you weren't really supposed to get a very good look at it in the movie. It was made for a scene in which a female character, who the audience believes to be a human being, a girl, an earthling, a human, you know, is blasted with a laser gun, and when she falls, her face burns off, and we find out that she's not actually a human girl, she's actually a robot, or android, or cyborg, whichever term they were using in that particular script. But I can't see it. In the movie, I can't see this thing at all. It's supposedly it's in there, and there is a shot of a girl who gets shot and falls, and then it turns out she was a robot all along, or android, or cyborg. But you can't see any of this. So I think it just didn't make it into the final cut. Some guys think they see it in there. I don't see it in there. Anything that I can, you know, definitively identify as this particular piece. But it's a cool thing. It was sculpted by somebody at the Berman Studios, and even though it was never released to the public, the mold was floating around for a few years in the 80s. So there are a few of them out there. Not too many. I have probably only ever seen maybe 3 other people who have one of these on the planet. Earth being the planet in question, okay? Since there are close to 7 billion people on it, you know, 4 copies of this would definitely not be enough to go around, you know. So maybe there are more than that, but I would guess, I'm sure somebody has copies of this out there other than me and those 2 or 3 other people I might have seen who had one, but I would say probably fewer than 10 in existence, because I see a lot of people's mask collections and I never see this particular piece in there with any kind of, you know, regularity, with any kind of frequency. And she has this mangled side of the head here, and I just painted this one, and I painted, you know, the mangulation here to look sort of burned up and charred and rusted and kind of nasty around there, but I didn't add anything to it in terms of like pieces and springs and wires and stuff, because I thought it would be cool to just keep exactly what came out of the mold and, you know, maintain total fidelity to that. So for that reason also, I did not cut out this area, which in the movie, the one they used, which I don't think got into the finished cut, the actual one they made for the movie, had this area cut out and had a set of dentures stuck in there. On this one, I just painted teeth on there rather than do that, just because I thought it would be cool to keep it exactly as it came out of the mold. And likewise the eyes. The one in the movie would have had glass eyes or acrylic prop eyes stuck in, but I didn't cut the eyeballs out. I just painted them on just because I thought it would be cool to keep the whole thing like it came out of the mold, you know? Interesting to have a female robot. And I don't know that it particularly looks female. I guess in a way it sort of does, because it has kind of a small, kind of a delicately structured cranium, I guess, sort of, and face. I don't know. But a very cool thing. I'm not a big fan of the movie, but this is a very cool robot head, or cyborg head, or android head. The female robot, which doesn't really... the head itself doesn't actually have an official name, is why I keep saying robot or cyborg or whatever. This particular prop doesn't have an official name, so it's just sort of the female head from mechanical head, robot head from Spacehunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, the movie that introduced Molly Ringwald to the world way back in the year 1983. Holy smoke! It would be kind of cool if you could get smoke to pour out of the holes, wouldn't it? That'd be a neat effect. Get a fog machine and run a tube up. Well, anyway, yeah, look for one at your local mini mart. And until next time, I'm gonna get out of here. It's spooky up here.